What is up? My name is Lloyd. This is the Middle Card, which are my takes on the world of professional wrestling and all of its ins and outs. So let's go.
Round one. Fight.
And so, these are my AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door predictions. Without giving it too much previous thought, I'm going to give my prediction on who I think should or will win the match and why it might tie into a storyline down the road if I see that being the case. All that being said, let's get into it. So first up, we have the Gunn Club with Max Caster of the Acclaimed versus the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo. Now, in my opinion, what's going to happen is, because you want to start off by pleasing the home AEW fans, since this is going to be in the US, and of course Max Caster is a fan favorite. When he comes out and he starts freestyling, everybody's going to be all into it. Everybody loves the Acclaimed, of course, so I feel like they're going to get the first victory to kick off the night against the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo. Simple as that. Next up, we have the second buy-in, which is Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland versus El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Okay, I don't know if there's a storyline going on between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland ever since Swerve dumped Keith Lee out of the Battle Royal to contend for the interim AEW Championship. However, in this case, I'm not going to put too much thought into it. I think I'm going to give the win to New Japan. So my pick is El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and then maybe there's some more development between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Next up, we have the team of Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki versus Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. Okay, because we're going into Blood and Guts, and because I think the team of Eddie Kingston, Santana and Ortiz, as well as Jon Moxley and whoever the secret member is of the BCC, this new member, I think they're going to take Blood and Guts. I may change my mind, but right now I think they're going to take Blood and Guts. Jericho, so that means I feel like Jericho has to get a win, building more heat towards this really, really intense match. So my prediction, the team of Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki are going to get the victory here. Next up, we have a fatal four-way to crown the brand new and first ever AEW All-Atlantic Championship, featuring Tomohiro Ishii versus Pac versus Malakai Black versus Miro. Oh my god, I don't know where to go from here. Let's break it down like this. I'm taking Malakai Black out because Malakai Black, with his gimmick, does not require a championship belt unless it's going to be the AEW title. So he's out. Then we have Tomohiro Ishii. I think it would be kind of cool if he was the first ever AEW All-Atlantic Champion. I think he could be the AEW All-Atlantic Champion in the future, but I'm not sure as of yet. Then we have Pac. He could use a very, very big win. A title would help elevate him a little bit, and if you've watched my previous videos, I feel like it's a belt that you could travel to different promotions with. So he could go back home to the UK, he can go to various different promotions and defend it and potentially lose it and put on some great matches. So he's a great contender. But then you have Miro. And Miro is freaking awesome. He is freaking awesome. His whole thing, his whole beef with God, yo, I'm all about that. I'm all about that. So I've taken Malakai Black out.
He's out.
I'm going to take out Tomohiro Ishii.
He's out too.
So I'm going to go with... I don't think Miro needs the championship. And his beef with God is great. So... I have a bad feeling about this, but I'm going to take Pac to wins this championship. I'm going to take Pac to wins this championship. Okay, moving on. Next up, we have the Bullet Club featuring one more time the Young Bucks teaming with El Phantasmo and Hikuleo versus the team of Shingo Takagi, Hiromu Takahashi, Darby Allin, and Sting. You know what? In a match like this, I think it's going to be kind of wild based on who's in it.
It's going to be a car crash.
And I honestly feel like the Bullet Club is going to get the victory here. I just feel like the Young Bucks just won the AEW Tag Team Championships. They need to start building that momentum up again. So I think it's going to be the Bullet Club in this case. And then next up, we have Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy for the IWGP United States Championship. I think there is no question that Will Ospreay is going to win this match. However, I think we're going to really see what Orange Cassidy can do.
He's gonna show out.
That's what I think. I think we're going to really see what Orange Cassidy can do in this very match. I think it's going to be a match that could actually elevate him, even though he doesn't win the title. It could also be a lot of comedy too, because wrestling is a variety show, so it should be a little bit of fun. However, I think we're going to get like a really good match, but ultimately Will Ospreay is going to win this match, and we might see the Stormbreaker finisher for the first time ever on AEW TV. Next up, we have Zack Sabre Jr. versus the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. So now this is two predictions because I have to predict the newest member and I have to predict who's going to get the victory. Boy, I don't even know, man. So there are three possible people that could be a member of the Blackpool Combat Club: Johnny Gargano, Jonathan Gresham, or Cesaro, aka Claudio. Johnny Gargano I automatically put out. Too much personality, doesn't need to be a part of a group, or not even the not prime member of the group. So then you have Jonathan Gresham, and then you have Cesaro. Jonathan Gresham is the ROH World Champion, which would make this an impromptu World Championship match. Would be freaking cool, especially if he actually loses, and then Bryan Danielson has to go and get the title back in New Japan. That would be awesome. But then you have Cesaro. And Cesaro, aka Claudio, is the one who I'd rather see in blood and guts.
He put on a show.
Gresham, probably. And, of course, as Danielson was going on, it's somebody that he trusts and everything like that. Well, Danielson, when he was working backstage, was trying to push Cesaro in order to elevate him, and that's why he had his matches with Seth Rollins and had his match with Roman.
He did that.
All that being said, I'm going with Cesaro, aka Claudio. I think he's going to be up. And then...
Take your time, why don't you?
I think it'll be his debut, but I'll give the victory to Zack Sabre Jr.
That's bold.
I'll give it to Zack Sabre Jr. because you still have to build up to the match with Danielson. That's my pick on that one. Next up, we have the triple threat winner-take-all match for the ROH and the IWGP Tag Team Championships, featuring Roppongi Vice, featuring the Great Okan and Jeff Cobb, and featuring the best tag team on the planet Earth today, FTR. If I gotta choose, I'm going with FTR because they have made it known over and over again. They want to add the IWGP Championships in order to secure their legacy as in the conversation for the greatest tag team ever.
Go.
And at the same time, it's good for New Japan because you can get FTR to Japan if they're the IWGP champions. You can get them on New Japan Strong. I think that's the win.
That's a win-win.
FTR. I am so sure about that one. Hopefully I'm not wrong, but that's my pick and I'm sticking with it. For the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, you have the champion Jay White versus Adam Hangman Page versus Adam Cole versus Kazuchika Okada. Okay, that's a big one. Okay, Jay White just became champion, so my gut tells me that it should be Jay White.
Champion's advantage.
However, there's a lot of juice to get out of this whole interpromotional arrangement.
It's a forbidden door. Duh.
Hangman Adam Page wins the title in a fatal 4-way.
Oh snap.
There's a lot of juice to get out of this. I don't want to get into it right now. I'll get into that for the interim AEW Championship match. But okay, so my top 2 picks, even though Kazuchika Okada is one of the top 5 best in the world,
put respect on his name.
I have to either go with the champion or Hangman Adam Page because of my fanboy storyline that I have in my head. My gut tells me to go with the champion, so I'm going to choose Jay White.
Don't regret it.
I'm gonna propose something at the very, very end there. But anyways, so I'm going with Jay White. Next up, we have Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's Championship. Honestly, even though I think at some point Toni Storm has to become the champion,
no brainer.
I think there's a lot more juice to get out of Thunder Rosa's reign. I think there are some hardcore matches. I think there might be even a last woman standing match or two. Things of that nature that you can get out of Thunder Rosa because she is down for all of that. So
she's down for whatever.
I'm going with Thunder Rosa to retain the AEW Women's Championship. And finally, for the interim AEW World Heavyweight Championship, we have Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Okay, this is the big one. I am going with Hiroshi Tanahashi. I think that there is so much juice to get out of this if you make Tanahashi the champion. Let's look at it like this. Originally, it was supposed to be Tanahashi versus CM Punk, which there was no doubt in my mind CM Punk was going to retain the title. Now, this is not the case because CM Punk got injured. So now we're delaying this match until such time as CM Punk is better. Well, what better way to prolong it than to make Hiroshi Tanahashi the interim AEW champion while Punk is getting better. And in that meantime, you can borrow Tanahashi, you can have him here in the US, you can have him put on matches, let everybody see how good he is, as well as defend the title in New Japan, but win and build up the credibility for when Punk returns.
A legit title
that
reign.
we have Punk versus Tanahashi, and then ultimately CM Punk will win that match and become the undisputed AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I think that would be a fantastic idea, and that goes into my prediction. But not just that, there's more. I said it before when we had the Fatal 4-Way for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Well, what if you have Hangman Page win the title? He beats Jay White, and then you have Hangman versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for a winner-take-all match. In which case, I would have Tanahashi win that match too. That he's both the interim AEW champion along with the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion until such time as CM Punk comes back and then reclaims the AEW Championship, and then New Japan can decide on which direction they want to go.
Saga really ends.
But that would be awesome for a period of time.
It's really pretty good.
All that being said, those are my predictions for AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door 2022. I'll see you on the other side. Let's go.